Notts County Talk, we are live for Thursday's Pavis Perspective, episode 98 of the Pavis Perspective. 2 away from our century, 2 away from an episode where we're going to be doing something a little bit different for you. I'll tell you what, George, I'm extremely sorry what you just had to witness before this video started. Extremely sorry.
Yeah, no, it's done me a bit. It's done me.
Did it upset you?
A little bit.
Do you want to explain what?
So I've just joined the call that we obviously use for these live videos, and Tom was being viciously mauled by his cat. Viciously mauled.
I'm bleeding.
He's bleeding.
I'll do my best to soldier on. I'll do my best to soldier on through the show. As always, thank you to Better Bites, who you would have seen their logo and information put up before the start of this video. We couldn't do the videos without them. They are a fantastic computer repair shop in Mapley, Nottingham. Go in, the code Pavis Perspective will get you a discount on either repairs or refurbished computers. Thank you again, as always, to our channel members. Also our platinum channel members, you can see at the bottom, Mackie Horizon, James O'Brien. You're a massive part of the channel. You help us out absolutely immensely. And if you are listening back on Spotify, please do give us that 5-star review. We're racking them up right now. Coming up tonight's show, they've got loads and loads to talk about. I've got Ryan coming on, Colchester fan, to chat to us at about 1:45 or 10:45. So, yeah, let's get started. George, what's our question for this evening on our poll? And it's one I feel quite strongly about.
You're going to have to relay it, Tom, because it's not coming up on my screen.
Okay. Question. If it has come up, I'm hoping it's in there. If not, we've got a bit of an issue. Is it not? It's not shown up yet. It's not shown up. YouTube's having a bit of a wobble, but we'll get the question there pretty soon.
Probably can't get what's happened with your cat.
I don't know. It's not showing up on mine. There's a bit of an issue, but we'll get that question there because it's one I feel strongly about. A lot of people talk about the presser. We will 100% talk about the presser. George just come into the chat and said to me, it's the best press conference, or one of the most interesting press conferences he's ever seen for a manager. I had to double check they hadn't left the camera rolling when I saw 40 minutes. A 40-minute presser from a manager. Sometimes you get 15, 20 minutes if you're lucky. But yeah, Williams was on good form. So before we kick off reviewing that Forest Green game, hi to Sarah, Stephen, Ian, Jeff, Len, Helen, Shane, Royston, Ian, Samuel, who is our platinum member, Gary, Chris, Alex, Callum, who is a gold member, Stephen, Dale, AD, Paul, Kiam, Rich, plenty of you, Ian, Paul. I'm sorry if I can't get everyone there, but we've got over 100 people tuning in. So another big Thursday night for us. George, I wasn't at the game. The second game I've missed this season. We all missed. We all missed the Tranmere game. We were on my stag in Belgium. But what did you make of the 4-3? Very, very interesting game. Well, heart and mouth for me. You know, only getting it through Twitter. But what do you reckon?
Yeah, first half was it's pretty good, to be honest. Like obviously when we get the second goal, I really felt like we were cruising. And I felt like if it came out in the second half, it should really have been an easy game to sort of just put an end to. But obviously it didn't go like that. And if you'd have seen in the vlog, I was saying that you can just tell that Forest Green have got that sting in their tail, and they did. But in saying that, I do think we made life very easy for them. The two goals from open play were sloppy to concede. Very sloppy. It's sort of pinging around the box a little bit, and I think defenders were sort of caught sleeping. And then obviously the third goal was a penalty. But look, it's 3 points. We go top of the league. 4 goals, 4 different goal scorers as well. So there's the positives. But yeah, we can't play like that week in, week out. The first half maybe, but the second half, no, we can't play. It's not sustainable to play like that. Because it's almost like we came out second half and we sort of felt like, oh, well, we've done this before where we see games out when we've been controlling the first half. We'll just do that again. And then all of a sudden they'd scored 2 goals and it was like, hold on. And then we scored 2 goals pretty much instantly. And then we obviously get that 2-goal lead and then we concede the penalty. But yeah, I mean, you can't get too down hard about a win. Do you know what I mean? It's we're winning games consistently, performing well. So if you have a bad second half and you still win games, to me it's a good thing. But there's obviously a lot of errors that happened in that second half that kind of went unpunished. So we've just got to be careful to sort of stamp that out of the game going forward, which I'm sure we will, because I'm sure all these issues have been addressed. As Luke Williams sort of covered in his press conference today or yesterday.
Yeah, Luke Williams wants perfection, doesn't he? That's what we know he wants. So if we are 4-0 up and we have, I don't know, 30 shots and our opponent has one shot from 30 yards and it's a worldie, he will still not be happy. Like, he'll never be happy. I think you're right, George. From our point of view, look, we've won the game. But when I'm getting it through Twitter or X or whatever it's called, and I'm seeing 2-0 before half time, and it looks like we're cruising. And then you message me saying Forest Green started really well. And then next thing I look at my phone, it's 2-2. We were kind of warned, weren't we, last week by Cam, who was a Forest Green fan, that said they are unbeaten away from home. And second half, and from what I've seen in the highlights, looked like a bit of a nervy one. I'm going to take you back, George. Take you back a week ago. Your words were, "I'm not worried about Troy Deeney."
I knew you were going to say this. Do you know what? I knew that you were going to say this that much. I was actually going to open the video by saying it, but I'll let you have it.
But genuinely,
3 lucky goals.
3 lucky goals. The penalty.
There were the two goals from open play. They were just given to him. Honestly, look, I'm not deflecting on the fact that he was in the right position at the right time. But
I think the first goal is a good goal.
Lucky.
First goal's a good goal. No, I in my head, I had visions of, when I thought of Deeney playing up against our defence, I had visions of him holding off with his back to goal, and that's what he did. The second goal, I don't know. It's not a great goal, is it? That is a pretty lucky finish. And the third one, I think Aidan Stone's the only person that didn't know who was going down the middle.
Yeah. I think even if it had gone that way, though, you'd have struggled to save that power.
No, I mean, that's why I think he's missed it's 2 penalties in his career. He put one over the bar for Birmingham last season. I think he missed only 1 penalty in however long he was at Watford. But you know, if you go on a penalty taker in this division, he's probably about the best penalty taker you're going to get. But a hat trick from him, and I've watched the highlights. Did that chance come close when he hit the bar, or was it sort of just on top of the bar towards the end of the game? Was it actually a chance?
Yeah, it was a chance. Yeah. Look, he causes problems. I'm obviously being sarcastic when I say 3 lucky goals. You could see his qualities were there, definitely. He sort of silenced my opinion anyway, to be honest, because I thought he's really coming towards the end of his career, and it was like one last sort of stab. You know, you sort of see those players that have had Premier League history, and they've had a little bit of Championship time, and then they come down to League Two and they sort of struggle a little bit. Yeah, always going to be the case of that, but I mean, I'm always first to admit when I'm wrong. I was wrong on that occasion.
But no, I have also heard that people saying, despite him getting 3 goals, he looked very, very unfit, like compared to what.
Yeah, but I don't think they, other than sort of like say holding his back to goal, holding up play a little bit, I don't think he's required to do much running.
No, well, when you let's be honest, he's got a bit, just pure ability wise, he's better than League Two, 100%. So he can get away with it a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought he would score 1. He got 3, but we still won the game. In about 4 or 5 minutes, we're going to get Ryan in, Colchester fan. So as always, get your questions in there, get your questions ready, keep them typed up, and then post them, and we'll try and get some put to Ryan. I want to talk about the Rollo challenge for the penalty. A couple of people said it was soft. I watched the replay. It's a penalty, isn't it? It's just not fantastic defending. We'll go on to what was said in the presser a bit later about that. But defensively, George, I can't help but think, no matter, I know we've a couple of clean sheets lately. We've clean sheet against Salford away from home. I can't help but think that if we're in this position in January, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, we have to go and get a defender, because if we don't, and it comes back to bite us, I will be absolutely gutted. I really do think we need to go and get a defender. Royston said here that Jesse Deb has gone to Port Vale. Yeah, he didn't play in the trophy or the cup in the week, but I really do think we need a defender in, because I think come Jan Feb, when cards are racking up and injuries might be racking up and games come twice a week for sort of 3 weeks, Tipton is nowhere to be seen. Macari played against Wolves, looks good, but what do you think?
I think we're all right. I think if needs, as the season goes on, it might sort of highlight itself a little bit more. But I think for the time being, I think we're all right.
Really?
Yeah.
I have to massively disagree with you. Wrexham went to Stockport and conceded 5, and I have Wrexham down as having a better defence than we do. I still believe that. No. I really do. And they've shipped 5 to stop. So you think I don't know.
How many have Wrexham conceded?
Well, 5 on the opening day, but so did we.
Right.
I don't know. Let's have a look.
I think it's 20. I think it's 20 now.
Is it? We've conceded 14. They've conceded 20. Yeah. But still.
We've conceded 6 less goals though. We definitely have the better defence.
Not sure about that.
I'm sure.
What do people think in the chat? Do we need to build on our team in January if we're still in this position? But look, we're 2 points clear on the 9th game of the season. It's going to change a lot. Ian says Wrexham don't keep the ball like we do. Very true. I mean, that limits how much we actually have to defend. Forest Green got some of the most possession out of us this season, if I'm thinking back to the stats of that game correctly. I think Forest Green, they got 42% possession. Now, some teams only got in the low 30s for that. Alex says we are absolutely set for this season. Royston, on the other hand, says yes, defo needs someone. It is interesting. It divides opinion. We could come back to this next week and everyone's saying, nah, we don't need anyone. 2 games, could get 2 clean sheets, could come back and we've shipped in 6. Interesting.
My opinion on it is, at the moment, you've sort of got your for me, the wing backs that we, if fit and ready to go, in. We've got Nemain on the right and Jones on the left. If they're not fit, you've got Austin and you've got Toby that will do a job, definitely.
I don't think we need to strengthen wing backs.
Right. So with that, you've left Chickson out of the wing back position, right? So Chickson plays left centre back as well. So within that, you've got Chickson, Cameron, Brindley, Baldwin, Rawlinson, Macari, and Tipton. That's 7 centre backs essentially that can play the centre back role. Yeah. So you're telling me we need an 8th?
I'm not on about numbers. I'm on about quality.
So other than Tipton and Macari, that probably a little bit out of it, who would you say is not up to the quality there?
I don't think the players aren't up to League 2 quality. I'm saying if you go into the end of the season, we need to not be shipping 3 goals at home to Forest Green or 5 away to Sutton. Because even before the red card at Sutton, we were behind.
Yeah, but you think one defender's going to do that? I don't think it's
going to strengthen it.
I don't think it's a case, for me personally, I don't think it's a case of qualities that the players have. I think it's just concentration. The goals that we've conceded, it's literally, you can see it, it's clear as day. It's just that lapse of concentration. So if we snap that out of the game, which, as the season goes on, we should do really, because you should improve throughout the season as you sort of analyse where you're going wrong. For me,
it's an interesting one. I like the look of Macari, but it was a very, very brief performance against Wolves. I know he played the full game, but I've only seen him once. Paul says, fail to prepare to fail. Depend on the progress of Tipton and Macari in the coming weeks, playing the Williams way. It's interesting. We'll see. There's also, Alex also mentioned the lad from Ireland, out of contract in December. We might have our eye on him. Ian says Brindley's been our best defender 100% this season. I think Brindley's been fantastic. Yeah. And I know that the first goal I was talking about, Troy Deeney was backing up against him and he managed to get the shot away. But, I mean, you're not going to get many defenders that can outmuscle Troy Deeney in that situation. I think he's calm. I think he's got the bit of pace we need in the middle. Big fan of him. I mean, Baldwin's starting to get back into it now, fitness-wise. I think Kyle Cameron's looking like, I think we're good. But I think there's always competition's never a bad thing, is it? Never, ever.
Definitely not. No, definitely not.
Right. We're going to get Ryan in now. Please get your questions in. Just before we get him in, I'm just going to plug, if you would like to become a channel member, then check that out on the channel. There are different tiers with different levels of rewards for that. It does help us out massively. And we've been pumping out videos this season, haven't we, George? Pretty much every week, 2, 3. We got the Toby video out for you. We're hoping to get some more out before Christmas. In episode 100, we're hoping to do a few giveaways in that episode as well. So please do, if you would like to, or if you're able, please do become a channel member and subscribe to the channel, because we're doing it very, very well at the minute. Right, we'll get Ryan into the chat. Colchester fan. Ryan, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Cheers for coming on Thursday. And this means, Ryan, the only fan we haven't found, and I can't believe it's taken me 16 minutes to mention it, is we haven't found an Accrington fan anywhere. Exactly. No Accrington fan. We found Forest Green, we found Grimsby, we found Sutton, we found Colchester. No Accrington fan to be found anywhere. But he's 20th in the table, Ryan. How do you see your season going so far? He's 7 points from 8 games. Obviously played 1 less than we have, but how do you think it's gone?
I think the big thing that's missing at the moment is consistency. Start of the season wasn't the best. We played awfully against Wimbledon at home. We then played very well against MK Dons at home the Saturday after. Then we went and played an away game and lost. We then were sitting rock bottom, played Gillingham, who were top of the league, beat them 3-0, which was a massive result. But we're just sort of up and down at the moment. We've had some injuries to some key players, which isn't great. Some of the loan players that we've had come in that have looked really strong, in the likes of Nico Lawrence. He was looking like a really, really strong centre-back, and then picked up an injury in that Gillingham game, which wasn't the best. But yeah, it's just the consistency that I think at the moment isn't there. It's getting there. We are starting to play a hell of a lot better under Garner. I mean, in the last game, I think we had like 21 shots, which in all the years I've been a Colchester United fan, I don't remember seeing that many shots registered for Colchester. Only 6 of them were on target, so there's a little bit of work to do there to get more shots on target. But the style of play we're playing is looking very strong. And in the Mansfield game, in the last home game, we drew that 1-1, which even Mansfield's manager come out and said that we shouldn't have drawn that game. He had no idea how they got a draw out of it. So yeah, just the consistency, really.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say you're sort of turning a corner a little bit in terms of performances then.
100%, yeah. We've I don't know what it is. When Garner came in, a lot of the old Swindon fans were saying, enjoy high possession, no shots, and passing it around the back. And yes,
they actually said a similar thing to us actually about Williams, didn't they? But
yeah,
sorry, I had to say that. Yeah.
But since he's come in, yes, there's been the passing around the back. Yes, there's been the high possession, but the no shots hasn't been a thing. Is it because we've got the young players in our team, in the likes of Joe Taylor, Samson Tavidi, Bradley Ihovin, that want to get the ball, shoot, and try and score goals? Or is it the fact that the way Garner's set the team up, we're getting more opportunities? But it's looked good since he's come in. We just need to find that little click, and I think the results will start to come in.
Yeah. One of our Platinum members, I don't know if you do this at all, Ryan, but are you one for pre-season predictions of where you'd put Colchester, and where did you have them? I think myself and George did a video, and I think between us, I can't remember the exact numbers, one of us had you sort of 17th and one of us had you as low as 20th, I think. Where did you see yourself pre-season?
So I don't, the prediction side of things, they're tough, because I think everyone at the start of the year were expecting yourselves and Wrexham to be first and second and not lost or drawn a game. But you're doing a lot better than what Wrexham are. Not saying Wrexham are doing awful, but they're finding it a little bit more difficult, should we say. And I believe, I did watch your video, I believe you both had Crawley to be rock bottom, and they're proving at the moment, they're proving everyone wrong. So when the list got announced last year of who was leaving. We were getting rid of all of our experience, and then we replaced the proven League Two, League One experienced players with youngsters that were just coming into the game. So it was one of the. I think I sort of was thinking like sort of mid-table would be quite a nice sort of finish, but the culture we've had over the few years. I mean, last season our owner Robbie Cowling said that we had a top 6 budget and we finished just outside the relegation zone. And then this year he said we've got a top 7 budget and we're still sort of in that relegation area. So yeah, I think sort of around the sort of mid-table mark was where I was thinking, and I still think we could get there.
Yeah, I think I don't know if you can remember what I said from earlier. I put you down there purely because of the age of the squad. I think you're comfortably the youngest age. I think it's like very, very young average age. I think Notts always sit around like 27, 28. I don't think we have a player that's played a game this season that's younger than sort of 24, which is quite crazy to be honest. But yeah, had you down there. But yeah, performances like George said, and you just said, Ryan, seem to be improving. Yeah, big ones, obviously the Grimsby one, which Grimsby don't concede. They've only conceded 8 all season and 3 came against you. And then Mansfield were unbeaten, weren't they? Well, they still are unbeaten. It must have been gutting when they equalised 91st minute.
Unfortunately, I'd seen the same thing happen at the MK Dons game where we were 2-1 up, and then the boyhood one, the Alex Gilby goes tearing through, scores to make it 2-2 in the 88th minute, and then they scored the winner in the, I think it was like 98th minute. So when it happened, I was like, I didn't feel, I'm not going to say like upset, but I didn't feel like gutted. I was like, really, it's happened again? Like the last minute when we just need to see the game out, and they've gone and got an equaliser. The MK Dons game, they got the winner, but that game they got the equaliser. And I thought it came from a young defender, Zach Mitchell, had a brilliant game all game. The ball came across him. He went to sort of shield it across his body and slipped. And then Keeler Dunn just smashed it into the top corner, who all Mansfield fans would have wanted it to fall to one person, and that being him, and it just did. But it was tough because it was one of them games. Like I say, Clough come out and said that he doesn't know how we got a draw out of that. It was tough to take because of the performance we put in. But the other thing, I've seen it happen so many times with Colchester that I sat there and was like, I'm sort of used to this by now.
Yeah, we
sounds
get
familiar, that doesn't it, Tom?
Properly, yeah. We got a little bit numb as Notts fans, especially in the National League at points. But yeah, some good questions coming. I won't be able to put them all through. I'll put this one from Hartley Hare. It's an interesting question. It's one we've never really had. Given the proximity of London and loads of other clubs, do Colchester fans have a second Premier League team? Maybe have anyone else you look out for? Yeah.
So me personally, no. I support Colchester United. They are the team that I've supported since I was a little kid. I support them because of my dad. My dad supported them for years. If there are any Colchester fans watching, he was at the famous Leeds United game. So
yeah,
many years he's been a fan. I would say a lot of the fans are probably Ipswich fans. Obviously Ipswich is not that far from where we are. I know a lot of the stewards there are stewards for Ipswich as well. So when Ipswich are away, they'll go to the Colchester game and be stewards. But you've got Ipswich that are flying high in the Championship. You've got Norwich that go up and down like a yo-yo from the Premier League and Championship.
Yeah.
And then you've got from Colchester's ground, you get on one train and you can go straight into Liverpool Street, and then you're on the Underground and you've got West Ham. So the clubs that are around us, I think, play a factor, but not a massive factor. I think other teams probably support us because they're just local to what we are. But I think a lot of people would probably be Ipswich or West Ham would have a sort of liking there.
Ian likes City, Colchester through and through. He likes that one. One more before we sort of get your prediction for the game then. Question for Ryan. How bad was the stadium move for the fan base? I went to a game about 10 years ago and the atmosphere felt pretty flat at your grounds. First time me going to Colchester, but what do you think to that?
So I used to go to Layer Road. I loved it. I remember a Stoke City legend, well, I say legend, Rory Delap with his big long throw, came into the crowd once to take his big long throw, and I, as a little kid, ran up to him and slapped him right on the back, just because he came into, because that's how close it was.
Yeah.
You could literally you could throw something so close to the pitch. Layer Road holds so many great memories for so many Colchester fans, me included. The move to the new ground when it first happened was tough. There was nothing around it. It was literally a stadium plopped next to the A12. Like I said, there was nothing around there. Now there are more sort of amenities around there. They are building quite a nice little complex next door. But the ground was tough. You went from a very small, Colchester always get around the sort of 3,500, 4,000 fans if they're lucky. At Layer Road, that was packed, that was booming, that was brilliant. At the new ground, it's a 10,000 seater stadium, so having 7,500 to 8,000 empty seats every game, it was tough. There was times where it sounded like we were in a library, but for the away fans, but for the home end, it was quite noisy. But it was tough. I think now fans are enjoying it a bit more. It's sort of feeling a bit more like home, but for any Colu fan, nothing will compare to Layer Road, which is what I like about League Two as well. You go to some of these away grounds, Crawley, for example, you go into their away end and it feels like you're back in Layer Road. So it took some time, but I think some fans are sort of getting used to it now.
Yeah. Oh, good question. Thank you for that. Good answer, Ryan. So one more has just come in. One more question that I do want to see. Quite a few people in the chat talking about Layer Road as well. Luke said, interested to know your promotion relegation predictions. Now table is starting to form. We won't go through all of them. Just, do you have a team that you see winning the league and a team that you see dropping out, or still too early for you?
So the team at the start of the season that I thought were actually going to do a lot better than what people would predict would be Gillingham. I think the players that they've brought in, they've kept Neil Harris, they've backed him, and they've said, look, like, give it a go. So they've got ex-Colu player Macaulay Bonne. And I just looked at their squad and I was like, that's a really, really strong team with proven League One, League Two players, a couple of ex-Championship players in there as well. And then they go and sign, I think it's Mahoney, who I looked at that and was like, that's another amazing signing. So for me, they were going to be my outsiders. Obviously yourselves, Wrexham, teams like that, and Mansfield, the teams with the money and the teams like yourselves that have come up with some very good players, you'd think they'll be up there. Again, Crawley were the team that I thought were going to go down.
Yeah.
Looking at the table at the moment, you'd possibly say Sutton United aren't sort of looking there or thereabouts. But I think at the moment it's hard to predict. I said in my video that I done on Monday that looking at the table, Sutton are sitting bottom, but Bolton were bottom at Christmas a few years ago, and then they went up as runners-up or in third. So it's very hard to predict at the moment, but I think Sutton are looking like the team at the moment that need to possibly change a few things and find an extra gear.
Yeah, gave us an absolute battering on the opening day, though. What a worst away to get. Well, it was good to be back in the Football League, but it's a shocker. Before you go then, Ryan, so one player that we need to watch out for from Colchester, and what's your score prediction?
One player. It would have to be one of the front two, Tavidi and Taylor. They are both. Taylor's our leading goal scorer. He's on loan from Luton. He's only 18, 19 years old, and he's looking like a real handful. Samson Tavide will put his weight about. He will leave his foot in on challenges, and he won't take anything from any player. He doesn't care if you're a 18-year-old or if you're a 35-year-old experienced player. If he's going to win the ball, or if he thinks he's going to win the ball, he'll do anything he can to win it. I would say Joe Taylor, probably for his goal scoring ability. I'd say he's the one to look out for, but the pair of them are starting to work really, really well together. They know exactly where each other are going to make the runs. To start with, they were making the same run, but they're now sort of working together and making the different runs to cause havoc for defenders. In terms of predictions, last time we played top of the league, we won 3-0, so I'm going to go 3-0.
3-0. Bold prediction. Honestly, nothing from our end, but I think you're the only fan to predict a win. So far, apart from the Sutton fan, I think he went 1-0 maybe. But yeah, Great to have you on, Ryan. Really enjoyed chatting to you. A lot of people in the chat have been enjoying that. Hartley Hare said he liked your answer that you just gave. So, yeah, enjoy the game on Saturday, and hopefully we can catch up again later in the season when you come to Medellin.
Definitely. Thank you for having me, boys. Cheers.
Ryan.
Cheers.
Nice,
Check out Ryan's channel as well. Cheers, mate. No Accrington fan, George. No Accrington fan. That's upsetting me. Yeah, fantastic to have Ryan on. We've had some good guests on this season, haven't we?
We actually really have. Yeah, we've had some really, really good ones.
Yeah, we've had some cracking guests, and Ryan's one of those. I think, George, we go straight in now because there was a lot to talk about earlier. We talk about the press conference now. I think you loved it,
mate. Do you know what?
You've had it put onto a floppy disk on a cassette, haven't you?
Not yet. It's in the process, though. Do you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. When I saw it was 40 minutes, I thought, what's this gonna be? And I started listening to it, and I thought, good one. It's a good one because
it was good. It was really good.
I think a lot of press conferences, they sort of have the same flow, don't they? It's like they'll talk about the previous game, they'll talk about the squad if there's anyone out, and that's sort of it, isn't it? Really, they're about 10 to 15 minutes long. This, like I say, they sort of follow the same sort of story essentially. But the one today caught me off guard a little bit, you know. Like I didn't think I could hold Williams in a higher regard than I already do, but then he went and proved me wrong because the way that he articulates things and just things you wouldn't really think about is just amazing. And he's so open and honest in that press conference. And I don't know, we've not really had much of that. There's not much of that left in football, I don't think. A lot of what the top sort of Premier League managers and like all the way down the pyramid, really, it's all about protection and protecting the players and protecting the team and saying the right thing, sounding like you're saying the right thing all the time. Whereas Williams, he definitely wants to protect his players and he definitely wants to say the right thing, but he will also say the truth when it's necessary, you know. So yeah, really, really impressed with the way that he articulated everything, like I've already said.
Yeah, you'll see I've just put Ryan's comment there in on the channel, so thank you for that. And I'm sorry, I know Ryan can still see us. I can see us at the bottom of the screen. I'm sorry I didn't ask Ryan to play as a tune on his guitar that people wanted, but you know, we didn't have time. But yeah, thanks for that, Ryan. I thought it was a really good presser. I love the way he spoke about Jody and just saying another side wanted him in that league. It's obviously either Chesterfield or Wrexham that wanted him. I'm guessing it will be Wrexham. Because Chesterfield, is Chesterfield still part-time? I don't think he'd go to a part-time. Well, they just, I don't know. They're not professional yet, are they?
I'm not even
Chesterfield,
sure what you're talking about.
They're playing blue.
Not sure.
No.
Can't remember.
Yeah, a couple of people talking about the Rawlinson situation.
It's like that as well. Like when he spoke about that, obviously, I'm sure most people that have Twitter woke up and saw the Rawlinson situation on Sunday. I'm not going to talk through it because I don't think we need to. Look, when you see things like that, you can 100% have an opinion on it. But the way Luke Williams talks through, like the way that Rawlinson would have felt in that situation and leading up to that happening, what happened to Rawlinson, he was sort of saying that when he put Rawlinson on, he gave him a lot of emotion. That he felt like Rawlinson probably then took onto the pitch and carried on with him. It probably had an effect on his performance. Essentially, I think that's what he was trying to say. So with all of that stuff that's happened, for me, it was almost like, without saying it, he was trying to take partial blame. From the reaction that Rawlinson gave, and it gave you another insight into his management, where he sort of says, "Look, I'm a football coach. If you turn up and you do the right things in terms of football and you show up and you're in the right condition, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But outside of that, he's managing men. How they want to conduct themselves outside. He says he has preferences. That were his words, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But he's not going to tell people how to act.
I just think, I think obviously some people have put about it in the chat, and it was part of the press conference. It was about a 4 or 5 minute part, so we chat about it a little bit. But it's gone. Things come along to try and a possibility to distract, and Luke Williams talked about that. I think it's done. I think the one thing I will say is, right or wrong, what happened, Williams backing his player, I think that's spot on thing to do, and explain it spot on.
Publicly. I think publicly he has to, but I mean, behind closed doors, you don't know what's been said.
No,
I'd assume it
but I
was
think
different.
press conference was great.
Classic.
It was good, and I just think, we're top of the league. Let's enjoy it, because look what's been going on today. Have you seen what's happening at Scunthorpe? Oh my gosh. Saying they're using Gainsborough's ground, but Gainsborough have no clue about it. People, they're pulling the money out. I mean,
it's one of them, really, isn't it? For Scunthorpe at the minute, when it rains, it pours, because it's like every time I open Twitter, something different's happening. I saw that statement that was put out, and I thought, oh no, it's terrible. Like, you're just so grateful that it never got to that sort of craziness of knots, even though it was pretty mad under certain recent ownership. But then for the Gainsborough thing to happen as well, where they said they were playing at Gainsborough's ground and they didn't actually approve it, it's just it's crazy. Like, who's writing these things?
Samuel says, what's happening at Scunthorpe? Samuel, what rather than us explain, if you go onto Scunthorpe's Twitter and look at their like press release earlier, that will tell you absolutely everything you need to know. It's an unbelievable read, unbelievable, and it's awful as well. Awful. Not good. Last game, Glanford Park, then 7th, and they're homeless. Yeah, not good at all. And I saw someone said something about knots, a comment. I can't remember where it was, if it was on X, if it was on YouTube, but someone said, like, 4 or 5 years ago, this is where... No, they put up a picture of the league table the year we got in the playoffs in League Two. Like, and they said, we're not even the same club anymore. We're literally not. We've transformed so much. We're in such good hands, so good. Like Chris said, thank God for our owners could easier be owners. We're in a massively, massively better position than we've been for so long. So long.
We cannot, like, we really cannot applaud these owners enough, you know. Because like, looking at it now, it just feels like we've got like the best owners in the world, because everything just heightened because of the years and years, like even decades really, of just dismal ownership really, and displays on the pitch. You just cannot take these owners for granted, man, because
I think you have to work
they're forcing as well. It's just
you have to work really hard not to become desensitized. It's like with the football last season, would moan about things that we wouldn't have moaned about before, and we're like, because you're just so used to things being good. Like, you have to realize and take a step back and think how good things are at the minute.
Imagine moaning in a season where you got 107 points.
I know, but you know, we got such high expectations. We were just so used to seeing 70% possession, 3, 4, 5 goals. So good, so good. Very quick mention for Swindon on Tuesday. When the fixtures came out, I thought Swindon at home will go and win that. They're the highest scorers in the league, and they've surprised me an awful lot. A little bit like the Troy Deeney situation, but you've got a player that is much fitter than Troy Deeney. You've got Charlie Austin coming to Meadow Lane. I think it's going to be tricky. It's going to be tricky. And it's the £1 ticket release today, which I wish you could do online. I'm not sure why. But, you know, I think Swindon's going to be tricky, but we'll give our thoughts on that after the All Black and White episode on Saturday after Colchester. But we go to Colchester, George. As we said, down towards the foot of the table. I think we've got 13 points on them. You think, you know, they've beaten Gillingham and they drew with Mansfield and really should have beaten Mansfield, ended their unbeaten run. Not easy, is it? It's not an easy fixture.
Definitely not. I don't think you can really underestimate many clubs. It sort of has a similar feel to it to me as Forest Green. Because they were definitely a lot better than their league position suggests, and I think they will climb the table in the coming months.
Yeah.
And from what Ryan's just said, it sounds like Colchester are on a sort of similar trajectory.
Yeah. It seems weird to say after a 4-3 win, but the way Williams spoke in the presser, I think we'll see a reaction. Like, I think we'll see us even better. Like, I know we weren't fantastic from what I heard because I didn't make the game, but I think we'll see the players fully focused, switched on. Weather's looking decent on Saturday. I mean, not that it should affect it, but I do think, you know, it doesn't always hurt not the way we play for things to be, you know, nice. And then, yeah, obviously the Swindon game. But can you imagine if we're sat here next week still unbeaten? That would be class. I said this a few weeks ago. So can you imagine going in after MK Dons and Salford still unbeaten? Could still be unbeaten. Right, line up then. I'm going to rattle through it. Aidan Stone, Kyle Cameron, Richard Brinley, Aidan Baldwin. Yeah. Wing backs. You go.
Neumann and Jones, centre mids, Bostock Palmer, forwards, Crowley, Majoldrick, and Maka.
Did you go for the wing back? Did you do the wing back?
Yeah, it's easy, isn't it? Yeah. The whole lineup's easy.
Aaron Neumann back in.
Yeah, Aaron Neumann back in.
Sorry, did you just say that?
Yeah, Aaron Neumann and Jones.
Honestly, you bore me half the time, so
don't blame me, mate. You can't get over your cat attacking you. That's what it is.
I know. I'm honestly. If this goes on much longer, I'm going to bleed out. Honestly, it was carnage, wasn't it?
It was
carnage on the screen, and honestly, I've got a cat hanging off my arm doing like kangaroo kicks to it. It's black and blue on the arm. Awful.
Poor lad.
But yeah, Jones and Aaron Neumann. I think Austin could play anywhere. I think he'd play in goal and he'd be good. Ian says Toby for Neumann. Toby, does it count as an assist? Yeah, it's got to count as an assist, really, hasn't it? It's a good cross. We'll say. We'll give it him. He came on the channel last week.
I'll give it him. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, Crowley. What can I say? Almost picks itself now, doesn't it? We're almost that point.
Yeah, it does. It does. It 100% picks itself. If everyone's fit and everyone's ready, that's the lineup.
Yeah. Chris says William starts the man every game he's available.
100%. Yeah. Someone that he spoke very highly of as well.
Yeah.
He actually said he's going to go on to have an illustrious career, but hopefully it's with Notts.
Oh, he said that about Aaron Neumann? I think that about you.
Thanks, mate.
I think you'll have a superb career.
Thank you.
I do. It all went wrong when you dislocated your kneecap at Father's side, though. You were going places.
Well, it's awful.
It is awful. Because the guy that ran I think we've told this story before, George basically dislocated his kneecap at Father's side and was in agony. And he came out and was like hobbling. And the guy came up and said, "Can I have a picture for Twitter, lads?" George is doubled over. His knee on the wrong
thing I've ever seen in my life.
His knee on the wrong way around. I'm going to find that picture and post it. I'm not scared. 145 people viewing live on a Thursday when we're talking about George's dislocated kneecaps. I mean, I can't thank you enough. Please do subscribe if you're not already. We're flying this season. It's all thanks to you guys, and we're producing the videos we're doing. We're getting some of these videos out in record time after full time as well. We're trying our best for you. So, really would appreciate anyone that's not subscribed to do, and any Colchester fans that want to see what we say after the game. Yeah, please do. We're pretty fair and balanced, unless you're that Chesterfield team that we just don't really like.
A lot of people saying that they prefer Toby, you know?
Yeah, a lot of people. I think it's because Toby was so good last Monday on the video.
Yeah, I think you could be right.
Either of them.
He's definitely got the qualities there, but I think the man.
Yeah.
I think the man.
Yeah. George, can you see the poll question now?
I can.
Oh, while you look at that, I'll answer this. Ian says, Tom, how did you do in the Robin Hood half on Sunday? I did finish. I did 1:47, Ian. So 2-minute
finish. I'll say to you as well. I came down to give Tom some support. Gave him the old pat on the back as he ran past me. And I can honestly say this, and I mean, I'm not just saying this as well. Tom was probably the most calmest finisher going over the line out of everyone that was there.
Thanks, mate.
You actually was. You just looked like you'd just gone for a morning jog, not just an half marathon.
Saved a bit of energy at the end. I did.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. 2-minute PB. Thanks for asking you. Yeah. 1:47.
Poll question, Tom.
Poll question.
God. It's a good one. It's a good one. Tom's passionate about this one.
I am.
Hash brown cobs or chip cobs?
That's not. Come on.
No, the poll question. In an away end, I prefer reserved seating or unreserved seating. Now, 33% say reserved seating, 67% say unreserved seating. Now, Tom, you're passionate about this one, aren't you?
I am. I feel like this could be a touchy subject with people, so I'm not going to go too much into it. But I'm
into it. You're passionate about it.
Unreserved at an away game. I think Colchester's unreserved. I'm pretty sure it is.
I agree with you.
Unreserved away game. It causes too many issues. Like, it does cause too many issues. Like, if someone comes up to me and I'm sat in their seat, fair enough, I'll move. Like, you've got that seat, so reserved seating, but unreserved, less issues. You've got people on the back row that don't want to be on the back row, so they go and sit elsewhere. And you've got people that want to be on the back row that sit in people's seats. Unreserved, bish, bash, bosh. Done. That's why I like away terraces. Love that. Love that.
Okay.
The old
Okay.
Salford. Salford. What did you vote for?
I voted same. Yeah, away days can be difficult, especially when when it's like sold out. You can't really get tickets together.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think unreserved seating is the way to go.
Yeah. Chris said I prefer reserve seating if it's a sellout, but not bother beyond that. Always unreserved people want to stand and sit with their mates. Yeah, it's a tricky one, but I go for unreserved, definitely like that. Unreserved, yes. Yeah. Right. George, score prediction then to finish this bumper episode. I say it's a bumper episode.
I was just reading the thing. It made me laugh. Score prediction. I think it's gonna be a tough game. I keep saying this, don't I? I keep saying this. Yeah. I'm turning into like a League One football manager. It's gonna be a really difficult game. Really good opposition. I'm trying to think of another cliche. I can't think of one. But yeah, no, I think it's going to be a tough game. But I think we can win it. I think we can win against pretty much most teams in this league, really, with the way we've started and the confidence and the performances that we've had. It's just that we need to cut out the lapses of concentration. But I'm going for a 2-1 Notts. Jones, brace.
I'm going for 1-0 Notts. I think we have to get, I know it's early, but if we want to compete, we've got to get points on the board before October. I don't want to be pessimistic here, but if we get to the end of October and we haven't lost, be some feat like in this league. I'm quite optimistic, but we've got a massive October coming up. I think it's Gillingham, Wrexham, Mansfield. It's going to be tough. I'm going to go 1-0. I'm going to go Jody Jones. Jody Jones. Right, let's see what we've got. We've got a 1-1. We've got a 3-1 Notts, Crowley header, standard, Jody and Maka. We've got a 2-0 Maka double. He loves a double, doesn't he? We've got a 2-2 Rollo and Didsey. Rollo scored against Tranmere, didn't he? We've got a 1-1 Didsey. We've got Gerald, who is a channel member, 2-1 Notts, Didsey and Maka. We've got a 3-1 Notts. We've got a 1-0 Notts. We've got a 3-0 Didsey double, Jody Jones with a late goal. We've got a 2-0, a Maka brace, as I've already said. He does love a brace. Let's see what else we've got. Ooh. Milkman's got his dodgy pen in there against us, but 2-1 Notts, Crowley header, McGoldrick top bins, and I'll put Luke's in to finish. We've got a 4-1 Notts, Jody, Maka, and Didsey. Still optimism, but a few people erring on the side of caution there. If you are travelling to Colchester, enjoy it. A ground I've never been to, so interested to be going there. Safe travels. Let's hope we come back with the 3 points. If you have enjoyed the video, please do leave a like. We got a massive amount of likes on last week's Pavis respective. I think we nearly got 100. There will be an It's All Black and White episode up pretty soon after full time. We try and get them up as quickly as possible for you. Please do not forget to subscribe to the channel and enjoy the rest of your weekend until match day.